American credit card debt is at an all-time high, which isn't surprising because everything is at an all-time high. Cars, houses, McDonald's. But what isn't at an all-time high is ideas like living below your means, impulse control, delayed gratification. Those are at an all-time low. In today's video, I'm gonna go over people maxing out their credit cards. You're gonna see how long it actually takes to pay off a credit card using the minimum monthly payment.
Okay, that's a long time.
I'm gonna calculate how much interest the whole US population is gonna pay in credit cards. And the number is so big, it might scare you, and much, much more. So before we start the video, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you like the video, hit subscribe and comment. I always feature your guys' comments in these videos, just like this one, which came from last week's video about car payments. He says, why are people buying cars on credit? Grow up and live within your means. Now, again, that might be a foreign concept to some of you guys or some of the people on this video, but I thought this was a perfect comment for today's video about credit card payments because he was referring to somebody in the last video putting their down payment on a credit card for a car. And if you think that's bad, let's check out this girl right here who spent $5 grand on clothes in 1 month and put it on her credit card.
We spent $5,674.33. How possibly, when we are accruing, wait, actually, how possibly? Like, legitimately, how possibly? Because that is, again, new balance 6,475. You have a credit limit of 5,000.
Yeah, why do they keep letting me charge?
Probably so they can eventually just absolutely destroy you with credit and fees.
I'm gonna pay it off.
What do you mean you're gonna pay it off? You just spent. Yeah, you would probably struggle if you spent the amount of money plus more than there is on a credit limit. No, you would be struggling. What do you mean? If you're gonna pay it off, why didn't you pay it off? You don't make this much money. You don't make this much money on a monthly basis to pay this off. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. You would have to put all of your money of 2 months earnings, no expenses anywhere else. And I know you have expenses to pay this off. So what do you mean I'm just gonna pay this off like it's so nonchalant? I'm struggling. What do you mean you're struggling? Yeah, you spent the credit limit. You spent double what you make in a month on a single card.
I mean, I've done it before. I just don't really know.
Doesn't matter if this is how we are today.
Yeah. And it continues to happen. So like, even if I were to come into some money and just pay it off, I'd probably go right back to those old habits.
So I don't know how it's possible, but she has over the credit limit by like $1,000. One of the comments said, why do they keep letting me charge? Just stop using it. Yeah, I mean, Caleb says it all the time, just cut them up and like throw them away. Because when you keep using these cards, you'll never pay them off. And I have examples later to show you just how that interest works and how you're just bearing yourself forever. I mean, you will never get out if you just keep spending. So this girl spent it on this company called Free People, which I had never heard before, but it's just a clothing brand. She spent $5 grand in a month because she felt bad. One of the comments said, okay, so I had to look up Free People. Who can afford that? So naturally, I did too, and I found a flower sweater that's $650 that grandma knitted on the weekend. I mean, I can see how she got to $5 grand pretty quickly just because of that. And then I looked at, I mean, the website's full of these, but I picked this one out too. It's a striped shirt for $128. $130 for a striped shirt. So here's another girl maxing out her parents' credit card and pretending in the car that she's getting a call. Yeah, home goods is dangerous. I was looking at, there's so many videos about people going to Home Goods and just coming out with bags of stuff. It's just too dangerous for me. I mean, I don't know, but let's get to some more Caleb clips because he's kind of a farm for this kind of stuff because you really see how people spend and what they're paying on these credit cards. Now, this one was pretty insane.
Isn't progress?
Huh?
Isn't progress?
It's $20 of progress, even though you put $174 towards it. Only $20 of progress because you're purchasing and there's interest. You're purchasing on a card that there is interest that you're not able to fully pay off. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the you're talking about.
It's like I got to get there, you know? I can't Like,
Huh?
it's like quitting cold turkey is not easy.
Buddy, even if the spending was translated to your debit card, that's different. You're spending on a card that is accruing interest. I'd still be
That's
upset at that.
true.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, but it's like,
Like, what
but
is
if it's
what do you
small
think you're doing?
amounts, what's it doing to the interest really?
Here, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
You little. 18 years without you purchasing on this is how long this takes you to pay off. Without you purchasing. With your purchasing, you'll be in your 60s.
Okay, that's a long time.
Uh-huh.
I thought maybe like a few years.
Okay. Well, programmer doesn't know how to look at a number.
Well, I don't like looking at them.
Okay.
But I mean, I could do the math, you know,
Don't have to. It's right there for
if I
you.
wanted to.
No need.
Oh,
It's on the
wait, it
statement.
says 18 years?
18 years, only the minimum payment doesn't even matter though because you
Oh, shoot. I
spend
didn't know
money on
that.
it.
I did not know that. It had that.
Well, you did Amazon purchases. It's at 24.49% interest. It's at $1,000, $1,090 of interest on this card this year so far. $1,000, and then $156 of fees this year. Who knows what the for?
Probably
Missed
late
payments. Why? Why would we? You make too much money.
So some of the people in the comments were saying he reminded them of the sloth from Zootopia, which I thought was pretty funny. But another person said, if you make $100K per year and spend it all, you are worse off financially than someone who makes $40K and saves 10%. How much you make doesn't matter. Well, I kind of disagree with that a little bit because how much you make does matter. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather be in the 100K situation and then just clean it up, which a lot of people don't. But income is the shovel, like Dave Ramsey says. You want the high income to pay it off. But one of the mistakes that he made was not looking at it. First of all, when people avoid looking at their credit card bill, they don't see this number. You saw how you saw the look on his face when Caleb told him how long it's going to take. If you don't even purchase anything more, how long it's going to take to pay off, which was 18 years. So one way to avoid that is to actually look at your bill, see how long it will take to pay off your credit card by just paying the minimum monthly payment. Because it looks like that scared him a little bit. He showed some emotion there, which wasn't that apparent in a lot of the episode. So let's look at more of these. So I love when Caleb does this. He's been doing this often now. When you look at that number, people kind of freak out.
You'll be in retirement, or at least what is supposed to be retirement. Of course, not on that track, but could be. But 29 years to pay off is what this takes at the pace you're going. Actually, no, not at the pace you're going. You're never going to pay it off at the pace you're going because you just put more money on it.
Yeah.
Monthly payment.
I think the last time I checked, it was like over 20 years.
21 years. So you know some of these things. I'm so confused. These are the conversations that really piss me off more than anything.
At least the last one she knew, but I don't know if that's worse if you know and you just don't care or whatever. But I actually didn't know that before making this video. That is a long time. You're paying 2 decades on a card that you used for a vacation or a TV. You're paying probably double just from the interest alone. So you could have bought 2 TVs if you just saved up and then bought the TV, right? You could still use the credit card. See, that's the thing. That's like one of the other big misconceptions. People like the points. But if you take time and save up and already have the money, you can still pay for it on the credit card and just pay it off right after. She actually does a decent job of doing a small visual for you to see what happens when you keep purchasing on something that's accruing interest.
Credit cards can be great. Perks, travel, points. But there's a dirty little secret when it comes to credit cards that most people don't think about, and that is how they work and whether or not minimum payments are ever going to get you anywhere. So let's say we have a credit card. Oh, you have such a large limit. Good for you. And you want to watch the game on a big screen. So you spend $2,000 on a brand new giant 70-inch TV. Good for you. It's awesome. The only problem is you don't actually have the $2,000 in your bank account to pay off the TV. So what do? You put on your credit card and you think, I'm going to pay it off over time. Great in theory. Let's see how it works. Most credit cards require you to pay either a minimum payment of a certain percentage, like 3%, or a fixed dollar amount, $20, whichever is higher. So in this instance, let's create some parameters. We're going to have a credit card. We have $2,000 on it now. The interest rate is 20%, which is just above the national average, but most of you will have credit cards that range from 27% interest to 16%, depending on how good your credit is. So in this example, if we were to pay off our credit card utilizing the minimum balance, what'll happen is each month you'll make a $60 payment. Yay! Of that $60 payment, $3.33 of it was interest, and the rest was principal. But then the next month comes and you have to pay interest on whatever's remaining on your credit card. So you have more interest coming in. And then you're going to make a minimum payment. See where this is going? The amount of water in the jug really isn't going down by very much month by month. So what does this actually look like over time? If you are just paying minimum payments on your credit card and you put $2,000 on it initially, it's going to take you 15 years. Yeah, 15 years to pay off this credit card. And that $2,000 TV is going to cost you $2,241 in interest. That's more than the cost of the TV. See, I know that. I put an extra $10 a month towards my minimum payment. Good for you. Instead of taking 15 years, it'll take 7 years. And instead of paying over $2,000 in interest, you'll spend, I don't know, like $1,276 in interest. But do you see what I'm saying? The idea that you're going to put money on a credit card and then pay it off utilizing minimum payments over time is a fool's errand. It will take you will have gotten rid of that TV and gotten a new one before you pay the thing off. Not to mention the reality of life, which is like you put the TV on, and then after the TV, your transmission goes out, and then after that, you have to go to the emergency room for something, and then after that, you have, I don't know, to buy diapers. I mean, like, it's insane. If you get behind on a credit card and can't fully clear the bottle at the end of the month, it just grows and grows and grows and grows until you're literally underwater. This is not to scare you, but there's a responsible way to use credit cards. Just most of us don't do it. Share this with somebody who needs to know, okay?
Will do. She did a great job of showing that when you make these payments, a lot of it's just not even going to what you bought it for. Not, like, most of it is just not even going to what you paid for. It's like poof, it's gone. And I've said that before, and like interest is like the worst thing because it's not doing anything for you. It's just way better to save and then buy it. I don't know. I'm like preaching to the choir maybe here, but one thing that does scare me is some of the comments. So this is a comment on that girl's video, and it says, I just keep doing balance transfers to new cards offering 0% interest for 2 years. Which actually isn't a terrible idea, and balance transfers can be a good tool, but the problem is a lot of the time people don't change their habits, they balance transfer, and then you just have all this new credit ready to go, and then they rack it up again, so they had double from where they started. So without addressing the problem, your spending problem up front, you're making it twice as worse by doing that. What seemingly is a smart thing to do, and probably what you should do after you change those habits. So I thought it'd be fun to do this little calculation. I took Americans' credit card balance, which is $1.14 trillion, and I put it at an interest rate of 25%. Now, I said that if we pay it off in 18 years, which is pretty in line with a lot of the ones that we saw before, I wanted to know how much interest we're going to be paying and how much monthly Americans are paying with that rate. So when you plug it into the handy dandy credit card balance and disregard that number, it's cutting off zeros. That's how big the number is. It just cuts off the zeros there. But when you put in the number, Americans have to pay $24 billion per month in order to pay off that balance in 18 years. And granted, remember, that's without purchasing anything else on it. That's why it's almost like never ending, because people aren't going to stop. I mean, it's kind of in our nature now, but it is crazy to look at the numbers that are almost too big to even comprehend. 24 billion a month, and the total interest paid back. If everyone stopped using credit cards for 18 years, the total interest we would just pay without the stuff that we bought, like TVs, even cars in some situations, vacations, the total interest we would be paying after that 18 years is $4 trillion. You're paying 4 times the amount, or we are, I guess, or people who have credit card debt are going to pay 4 times the amount of stuff that they bought. Instead of saving up a little bit, save up a year for that vacation. But when you just put it on right away, you're going to have a lot less. I mean, they're still going to be paying for it. So why not save a little bit, pay for it with cash or on the credit cards for points, and then you have the extra $4 trillion of interest you would have already been paying if you just waited a little bit, if you space things out. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are these numbers too big to even just understand? They are for me. So let's get back to Zootopia here and see how much his monthly payment, aka that $24 billion per month that Americans are paying, and how much of that is really going towards the principal. How much is that going towards the stuff you bought? Here's an example.
Cards, they're both Quicksilver, by the way. I feel like I haven't spent that much on.
Why would you spend a cent? A cent.
Yeah.
$126.54 of interest was accruing. You spent $58.
Yeah.
Your balance went from $5,526 only down $8. $8, even though you put $184 to it and had other credits of almost $10. Yet only $8 actually went towards it net.
So he put $184. He paid that much money out of his bank account. And the only amount of money that went towards the principal was $8. So look at how much of a disaster it is when you start accruing on credit cards. It is death. I had a financial ruin tier list video. You could go check that out after. And credit cards, I believe, were S tier. Those are like total destruction, death on your finances. Whenever you buy something, don't put it on a credit card unless you have cash to pay for it right away at the end of the month. Now, I thought this one was actually pretty funny. It's not that funny, but this girl, she was kind of pissed that she automatically paid off her credit card because she's so used to accruing it, and she was kind of mad that she paid off her credit card, which seems kind of backwards to me, but let's kind of see her logic. It's kind of a longer one, so let's just check it out.
I accidentally just paid off my entire credit card. So I just logged into my bank account this morning. I have a bank account with Capital One, and it is attached to my credit card, my checkings, my savings, all that kind of stuff. And I'm scrolling through, and it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not really paying that much attention, and I see that one of my accounts is 0, and I was like, that's so weird. Like, what got down to 0? And I look, and it's a credit card. And usually on my credit cards, like I've been, this one specifically, I try to pay off in full every month just because I didn't use it often. I would use it for like groceries, and I knew I was paying that, so I just pay that one fully off. Credit cards, I'm still like carrying like higher balances ish. It's not that high. Anyways, I'm working with a financial advisor to cut down on my balances. And that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is the fact that this one started to accrue a little bit of a balance because I am getting married in less than 3 months. So I started putting a bunch of wedding stuff on there, like the invites and bridal shower invites and just like a bunch of just other random things that are going on there right now. Balance was getting kind of high, and I was like, you know what, I'll just pay it off getting closer to the wedding. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Like, life is just crazy, and getting my balances down to 0 is not like my main priority right now. It's just, that's life. Forgot that I had this setting on that said like pay off my entire balance on the statement date or my payment date or whatever it is, and the entire thing got paid off. Got paid off this month. So if you need me, I will be eating peanut butter and jellies, so I don't have to put anything else on that credit card. I just thought that was kind of crazy. I was just so not aware. I've been just so in my own world, so busy with everything wedding, bachelorette, bridal shower, just like bam bam bam, my other friends' weddings. Like, there's just like a lot going on right now, and the least of my concern was changing my credit card payment from the entire balance to just like minimum payment due. And I'm just seeing it as a blessing in disguise that I no longer have to worry about that balance on my credit card, and it's just gone, and I might not have all the money in the world in my checkings account right now, but it's fine.
Well, at least she took some accountability. She's going to be eating PB&Js for the week, but she said it right there, blessing in disguise. I mean, setting up your payments to be automatic, that's not a bad thing. But I know she mentioned she was putting everything on the credit card for the wedding, and her and paying it off at the end of the month was at the least of her problems. And paying it off at the end of the month was the least of her problems, but I don't think it is the least of her problems. As you can see from all the videos we've touched on, it's just not worth it. I mean, the wedding's important. I like when people get married, but that really was a blessing in disguise. All right, so let's end it with this girl who has a hot take that I may or may not agree with. Let's see.
I have one more hot take. Credit card debt is not normal. I feel like people make a joke out of it on this app. I get it. If you are in between jobs, you are struggling, and you genuinely need to accumulate credit card debt, this is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about people that go out to dinners, go on vacation. I feel like there's a lot of young, impressionable people on this app, and I want you guys to know that it is not normal. I talk to my friends. We do not have credit card debt. It is not funny. Unfortunately, real life is real. Living within your means is so much better.
You heard it there. Real life is real. But I mean, I agree with her that we shouldn't normalize it, even though it is so normal. But the only way to really avoid it is just take a little time to save up. I know I probably said it a bunch of times in this video, but that's why it is so important. So I hope you've seen the detriment of credit card debt and interest. I'm sure you knew already, but if you are that person who does, go take a look at your credit card statement, see how long it's going to take to pay off, and I hope it's not 18 years. But thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you like what you saw, and as always, have a good day.